We literally said last week, but last time,
but sometimes the love of your life is your manager.
I'm not. Yeah, got a shame. Okay, to be fair, as much as I say, but like sujole emsebenzini, I think mhlawumbe ndithi sukwenza into ezigezayo. Okay. Do you know what I mean?
Sometimes the become October the podcast. I was told like it would literally become that.
Like,
but just try. But mental institute. Likhaya lakho
say like honestly bamnandi man like banalanto imandi you know and stuff, but like obviously kenyani they are the very toxic traits which actually do come from like them being slight like imisojon basically evela kwaXhosa and whatever. Spin the whistle.
Hey guys, welcome back to October the podcast. My name is Buhle Lupindo and I'm never alone. I'm with Miss
Khanya Mweli /K October.
Welcome back to October the podcast. This is I'm not gonna say this is part 2, but this is just a new episode.
Yeah.
We're just shooting back to back, as you know.
Yes.
But I'm not gonna ask how we are because we're literally this is the same day. Go watch episode 1 and then just like figure out how we are there, and then come back here and then just have this conversation with us. Today, we posted on our Instagram stories. Follow us on our social media platforms everywhere: TikTok, Instagram. Do we have a Facebook page? No.
We do, actually, but we need to be consistent with posting.
Okay, yeah. But follow us on all social media platforms. Follow us on our individual social media platforms where we post our email address and are talking, just like asking you guys to send us scenarios of things that we can potentially talk about. There you can also keep up with our lives when we're together, like when we're not shooting, but in general. But today we're going to be reading how many scenarios?
I don't know. But
about as many as we can while we shoot. We're going to be reading scenarios and just like talking about that.
Yeah.
So Khanya is going to be reading. Khanya kafundi but
but okay, dilemma number 1. Okay. Hi guys, I hope you're doing weller than I am. What are the what are the
arms?
No, I was just like this kind of okay, but anyway, what are the community guidelines on breaking no contact? I had a friend that still does the absolute world to me. He decided to go no contact without a word, just radio silence. We were literally fine one moment and not fine the next. I find myself wanting to break no contact because I haven't found what we had in any of the friendships I made after we broke up. It was one of the friendships where I saw us growing together with our spouses and kids. In that friendship, I saw how good life could get, and it was really good. I also, in a sense, grew up in the friendship, literally like a flower blossoming. Our friendship was purely platonic, and it functioned better than my romantic ones.
So it's a guy friendship.
Yeah.
Okay.
To put it plainly, that man was the love of my life. It has been a couple of years. It has been a couple of years since the dissolution of the friendship, but I still think of calling him just to talk about our wins, losses, and everything else in between. Even if we don't move towards getting back together, do you think it is worth breaking no contact to hear what was my contribution towards the dissolution of the friendship, so that I can introspect and course correct? Even if you don't. Oh, okay, no, it's fine.
Okay. Oh my God, that's so sweet.
That is very sweet.
That's so sweet,
that sucks,
bruh.
man.
That definitely
and
sucks.
it happens, man. Like Lando Bana, platonic don't shame, because like I have guy friends where I'm like, yeah, bro, like that's my bro.
Yeah,
you know?
I thought she was talking about a girlfriend, and I had a similar instance where I was even talking to my sister about that. There's a girlfriend of mine that. She kind of broke up with me. Fine, whatever. Okay, girl. She broke up with me. She literally wrote me a text saying we're not friends anymore. Then he told me normally I ghost and whatnot.
Okay. Don't know once.
I wanted to ask, what was going on when you were fighting? Like, that's a story.
That's
that-
such a
You
that's
are-
a story
it's a long
we've told
story.
in the podcast before.
Oh,
but
okay.
basically, like, she just like randomly hit me just the one day. But I'll tell you after this what really happened because we've told it before. Yeah.
Okay.
But anyway, and I was saying to my sister, if that girl would come back and text me, a part of me would like take them back. But I've changed so much that I don't know like what could possibly like make the friendship work right now, because
Yeah.
it worked then,
Yeah.
and I don't think it will really work now. But I wouldn't be very snacks towards them because that's someone I really loved, and I feel like our friendship, and I'm meaning your pal.
Yeah.
Now going back to this story, I don't know about losing a guy friend like that. Normally when I lose guy friends it's because like omnye befuna omnye and then
okanye into
it didn't
weird.
work. So I would have loved to know maybe like what happened between him and her for them to end it, because maybe those are the reasons not to break contact.
Funny enough, I love the story because I actually experienced something like that, and that was something that I was discussing with said person literally this weekend. And I mean, my example is very niche to my situation, but you remember my best friend who was in high school and
yeah.
whatever, and then dam ghost. I literally did the same thing, like definitely and that's because I felt like he wasn't a friend to me like during my mom's passing, you know.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
like I saw and like we best friend and then I feel like you're not there. Got number one, you know, on the podcast on like in my life or whatever during that time and whatever. So when it comes to like ghosting I sit in a space where I feel like ghosting is like irright.
Yeah.
Advocate for ghoster because sometimes it's like I man don't go to be adult. Like you should
I
know
get
what to
you.
do. Like you making that decision not to do it. Sometimes
Yeah.
that's how I feel, and especially if I'm angry. Like I'll be like, actually, you chose that, so bye.
Do you think
I'm
it
not even
doesn't
gonna-
warrant like one conversation of trying, and then if they don't get back to you, then you can ghost them?
I get that, but like there are people like me that say like actually like ndidikiwe manje mina ngase ndingathethi actually okanye mhlawumbe umuntu afilishe like ayisuka kudala ndithetha lento mna and awundiva. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah.
but wena mhlawumbe uzuqaphela but actually bithethiwe lento.
Yes.
Because also sometimes people literally express but actually like andithandi man xa usithi but wena awuyiva because also
Ndiyakuva.
sometimes when we don't understand that like also remember kaloku ijomi asizelwanga nazo like
that's true.
and we sometimes treat friendships as if ayisikawethi lo muntu akazuya ndawo.
Eh,
No,
well.
actually like when I say I don't like something
I
it
don't
means
like
that
it.
actually potentially this could be the breaking point where I'm like I don't like this and our friendship could really dissolve, you know.
By the time I wanted to think that you people shouldn't work on friendships. They work
it's
so much
constant
on
work.
relationships, but they can't work on friendships at
Exactly.
all.
Friendships are literally constant work and yeah. So I'm really sorry, Shem, like that because it sounds sad.
Do you think
like-
she should break no contact? I think she's.
I would.
I
if
feel like
were her.
I
personally,
think, yeah.
actually.
I
Okay,
think she
no.
should.
If I felt this way, I would.
Yes.
Manditi, yes.
The-
Her
Nami, like,
feelings,
her
because I wouldn't break
feelings are
any
very
no contact
strong.
with old friends.
And-
but if I felt like this, I would.
And I think she genuinely needs another heartbreak. If it's meant to be like that, hear me
Okay.
out. Listen, there's two ways this thing can go.
Yeah.
There's the way of the guy doesn't feel the same, or the friendship is not the same anymore, and she's not
Yeah.
as heartfelt as this. That's another heartbreak of losing the friend again for breaking no contact.
Yeah.
Or there's the way that it could potentially work out. I feel like she needs another heartbreak because she's still not over it yet.
Yeah.
And Uchabu says this to me all the time.
We had this conversation literally yesterday.
Yeah.
Manu, like it's out if you feel like you kubone but actually man angikagqibi, you know. Then ke I guess ke umbuzo
Yeah, she should go
mina
back.
personally asozenza lonto leyenza myeka umuntu ongafuniyo makayeke shame honestly god xa sesithethele zansiyo. I'm seriously. I'm not even joking with you right now.
But I get her completely. I remember
yo.
when my friend broke my heart.
Yeah.
Like 2 days.
But what if it was like a situation of he waited for her for so long? What if he actually did love the friend, and
then
it was a situation
it would
of
be a cute story. Maybe they needed the break also. Ukubona, sometimes maybe they need the break to just be away from each other and then figure it out and whatnot. If she reaches out, it might turn out to be a positive thing.
Yeah.
But that break
I
was
don't
actually
know.
needed.
Because me as a guy, if I actually was like that infatuated with you, where I had to cut you off, I don't think I'll ever go back. Because like the past traumas of me sitting at home looking at your pictures is not fun.
I don't think it was
don't know why,
infatuation, but I think it was more of I think maybe platonic friends. What actually happened to them not speaking anymore, because that would paint a bigger context of why they're not speaking anymore. Maybe one of them expressed their feelings. Maybe the guy finally came to her and was like, I don't like us being friends anymore. Okanye she came and she was like, I don't like us being friends anymore. You're the love of my life. Because she's like, you're the love of my life.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And Shem, she sounds like a sweet girl.
Woman, this is so
Yeah.
cute. And I'm Suzanne.
Yeah. Okay, a second one. Hey, loves. I hope you're all doing well and thriving. So here's a scoop. I've been at my current workplace for about 1.5 years now, and brace yourselves, I've caught feelings for my manager. What's even crazier is that it seems like he's starting to notice. I need to figure out how to get rid of what I'm feeling, because honestly, I want to stand on business and compose myself. What do you think I should do? Any advice you guys can give? Many thanks in advance.
Go for it.
No. We literally said last week, but last time.
But
emsebenzini mntase.
Ukechi. Sometimes the love of your life is your manager.
I'm not. Yeah, kodwa Shem, okay. To be fair, as much as I say, but like sujole emsebenzini, I think mhlawumbe ndithi sukwenza into ezigezayo ke. Do you know what I mean?
Sometimes,
Mhlawumbe
yeah.
if because remember when when we were in school, some of our teachers actually used to date. Like,
Aye.
do you guys never experienced that?
Students.
No, as in teachers.
Oh,
like I was teachers,
yes. Teachers
like I
dating
remember,
other teachers. Okay, yes.
like different couples, like esikolweni and whatever. And
Yes.
we used to like skinner,
Ewe.
hey, bayajola aba kind of thing.
Ewe.
And it's like, I mean, also I think depending on like work policy, but like what does work policy say? But a lot of the times, gay work policy does say about entertaining, like
It's not. If the
in
work
the work
policy and you
environment.
can be mature enough to realize that when this relationship ends, it mustn't affect your work or anything like that. And you must be ready for the rejection if he doesn't also feel the same and it's just like, oh, you just have a crush on me. Then go for it if you are mature enough. But
Yeah.
sometimes mtase, some people like in 9 to 5 spend most of their lives at work.
Yeah,
Where
true.
else are you going to meet someone?
Yeah.
The chances of you meeting someone is probably your manager or someone in the office. So why not try to figure it out there? I will not do English. Maybe you can try hold yourself as long as possible.
Yeah.
But if it's getting to a point where you're sending it to October the podcast, then it means you're into deep.
Hello, Auntie Agnes. What Auntie Agnes? Got it lost his way magazine.
Auntie Agnes.
Yes, okay, you know what? Let me put it like this, okay? This girlie, jebe senda le email ne. Uyazazi yena in the heart of hearts the truth.
Yes.
Ba, umfuna etrasini okanye suhleka manene okanye umthanda manyani. Ndithi mina if umthanda manyani, fine, go for it. If umfuna etrasini, then umyeke mntase.
Sometimes uyazi noma
ufuna etrasini. That depends.
Ubucupha ngiyamthanda but bomfuna etrasini qoma good shot. Sometimes
Also, I want to say, baby girl, also, get depend on what kind of work do you do. If upangela, we entertainment industry.
umfuna ematrasini.
If we content creator, and a lot of hallelujah. You buy late, you buy you.
Khona manager ku content creation ku managers ku 9 to 5 lo mtsa office.
Okay, I'm saying, if it is like a 9 to 5, then try not. At least you content creation, just say. You content creation,
we-
must say, "Ayo crime." It's not, ne?
It's not a crime.
Is it?
No, it's not.
It's not.
it's a crime. It's
Eh?
a crime. To me, it's a crime. Where's the professionalism?
But kaloku hayibo professional njani ndithanda.
Come on.
Hayibo kaloku content creation is built in love.
Not loving the other person. You know?
Hayibo, so many people fall in love. Actually, in the entertainment industry, people act together, they fall in love, whatever yonke la.
What if
Ilona
it's a
nantsi uba-
situation of couch casting?
Eh?
Couch casting. Would you consider that as
No, it is no, because it's yatanda. Like I'm not. I wouldn't be sleeping with you because I want whatever. I'm sleeping with you because.
Why? Why are you sleeping with me? Why? Dad.
You know what I mean? Because that's a totally different conversation. Because that would be like comes to you and be like Atba, if you sleep with me, I'm gonna get you this role or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a totally different thing.
But then the same
if
thing, the same thing can be said about like content creation. I can be like, okay, I can get you to a certain place, but after that.
But do you like me? If we like each other, then it is what it is.
No, because also I'm gonna say that's another thing. Like there was this other random thought I had the other day. I was like, also by extras and good man because I will not even push up cause
I was so tired. Every day.
You can't sit and push.
Okay, I'm tired.
But what do you mean I'm tired?
I'm tired. I catch on ya.
You're back to my husband. Damn.
That's why certain professions are suitable for certain people.
By the way.
I'm joking.
Come here.
Not to poke. That's why certain professions are suitable for certain people who know how to remove their feelings.
Profession.
Leyo bonko. No tsikitsi. Yoki red carpet completa. Kwakushiwo kwakhona uloyisa kuthiwa yo hayi buhla uzamplisa uloyisa qoba ni-understand nini content creation
Abo-HR.
HR up ngamfuna ngokwetlasini
Oh, guys, but I mean, yeah,
no,
man.
but it's a manager. But also, I think it's complicated for her because
also
it's
there's a power dynamic
There's
involved
a power
as
thing.
well. Yeah. And I mean, if things were to not work out with them, and then there's trouble involved and HR is involved, there will always be like Lando Manam time the manager's taking advantage because who knows how those conversations happen. So I don't know.
What if the Umfana feels the same also?
That's what but she said, okay, let me read
I think
that.
she's
starting to notice, but it doesn't mean
we'll pick her
back.
up.
Uyamfuna, but it doesn't mean ukufuna back.
Yo. How do you navigate that? And in Yanim Dasa, you can't stop people from falling in love because they spend most of their hours there together. And also, focus emsebenzini. Don't like want to excel. It is sexy. Open Excel.
I don't know, but but I haven't worked like corporate for long enough at times. Pardon, your sister's calling. D-job. Enough in the urbana. You learn to know to stand 10 toes and be like, I'm not so like, hey, whatever. Who actually? Do you know what I'm thinking of?
What?
When I went to like interview.
Which one?
Remember when I went to that interview and I came back and I was like, you? Laputi.
Oh, yes. I just
you. Yeah. Yeah, so hot to shame. Like I was actually just like, what the hell?
Good shot on her.
Like, no, she ate that thing.
She
but
ate it
imagine get a manager in you.
Jokes.
Ikona ke HR ke ba.
Yo, he's hot, right? He's tall.
Yeah, you know, he's quite handsome. I was
Yo,
shocked.
If
you got interview, like I'm sitting there like
lunch every day.
Yo, yeah, no. Anyway, but I'm just like, try your best to not entertain it.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, like if I guess if Nyani it's really love, I guess.
All I'm saying is like if you're mature enough for the rejection that comes with it, like you can go and try. Also, if he's not involved with someone else, that's another thing. You can go ahead.
Oh yes,
and
that's another thing I also wanted to say. But are you sure he's not married? Like, what's the story?
And I'm sure, Kaloku, he isn't because what am I opening?
Another scenario.
Oh.
But ke abantu bangamaqubusha emsebenzini mhlawumbe akazi ukuthi uba utshatile umanage akafuna
Akazutsho kaloku. Akazutsho. Where's another scenario? Kutheni ngoku ngathi vule
email yakho, that's why I'm
email
confused,
yam.
but why is it your personal email?
Alrighty. I don't know mntase. Oh man, khawuvula ifone yakhe ivule i-email yam and zikude ngoku ezinto because I have other things here.
But thini ngavule yakho?
Oh, can I add on into this? Do women have this thing called us as gents we call it post-nut clarity?
Hayi.
No, it's a question where you like you sleep with a person. Maybe it could be a situation where she's infatuated.
Samkelo asizenzi.
Asizenzi thina zonto.
Ezonto.
Like my virginity is so
Zintoni
real.
post-nut?
Clarity.
Yeah.
Samkelo.
What does that mean, Samkelo?
Like you
We
have
know
sex
what
with
it
a
is.
person, and then also when you nutted, it's just a situation of.
Samkelo, bekuthiwa kodwa ungadethi. Uthi when you nut, stela go nut.
Okay. English. When you ejaculate. What do I say? What do I say?
Pause.
Ithi xa andiyazi nokuba
Okay. Masuqedile, right?
Okay, when you finish. I
You
don't
look
have
at the
that.
person
The thing
and-
is, I wouldn't even get into that doing that thing if I'm not sure about you. I call clarity. It needs to be a solid thing. I can't just do things just to please the. No, it has to be more than. Yeah, get like it can't just. Post like it has to be. My mom watches this, bro.
Okay, man. Okay, this one I don't think I'm gonna read because it's slightly long, but I've read the synopsis about what
Okay.
she's trying to say.
Okay.
So this girlie says, "Bana, hi girlies. First of all, love you guys so much.
Love you too.
Your infectious laughter, vulnerability, and just all-round relatability is pure gold. Don't ever lose that." Then she's like, "Bana, she's in her 30s, and this romantic climate, school your way options for a lover girl like her are few, yabo." And she's like, she keeps meeting rugby gans, yabo. And then she's like, Bana, she knows they're walking red flags, and shouldn't be taken seriously. One slid into her DMs. Obviously, they started talking. They kind of having a thing. And then she was like, Bana, and Jolento booked flights to come see her, and she's in Cape Town. And then she was like, she's excited. He's been a gentleman, and the conversation is so good. But you're yika because the scoreboard doesn't look great for people who have dated Yans. As Eastern Cape girlies, nibazi better than me. Please, can you tell me nobody I need to walk into this but I also don't want to miss out on a potentially good thing because Xhosa men have that.
Yo, it's
Thanks,
Specs
Chomis.
Kaka. Up next, Khanya,
Aimed, I say.
you're up.
What do I say?
Next, listen, we speak a lot of nonsense about Xhosa men. Like we
Yeah.
really bash the hell out of them only because kumandi uthandwa yityani. Ned, like it's a good time.
Yeah,
Will
ne.
you lose weight? 100%.
100%. Will you
have
uzayovalela
sleepless nights?
endumangeni 100%. But
Will-
uzawuya
because
wonwabile. Ukhe
umandi.
wonwaba noba ibilo 3 months.
By 3 months.
Noba ilo 3 months.
Another thing, my experience with dating Xhosa men is like the constant confusion. You're always confused.
You never know what's going on.
You don't know what is going on, and you can't be sure about what's going on when it comes to Xhosa men. But those people know how to love right. Like, are they loving right if they're confusing you?
Are they?
But
I don't know. I'm not saying I won't even lie, guys. Like, I don't have good PR for Xhosa men. Unfortunately, currently, like, I'm involved with a Xhosa man. Unfortunately, like, but it just so happens. But and he hasn't. And I've only like been in relationships with Xhosa men. But I guess it's proximity that's causing that more than anything, you know.
I think the only person, like, unfortunately, like, I don't know if maybe this is a tribalist thought of mine, but the only person who can ever understand another tribe's way of loving is the same tribe.
Yeah,
like,
maybe.
I do strongly believe like tribes belong with the same tribe because those people understand each other better. The only person who understands a Xhosa man is another Xhosa woman.
But it's not, I don't think it's understanding them more than sebaqaqanisela. Whereas maybe like someone from
Understand them, to know how to treat
because
them.
sonke siyabazi bana basiphethe njani.
That's
Basiphethe
it. Khona
zawuthini.
Like, for
Kuyafana.
example, this is my theory. I'm not saying it's right. This is my theory. There's two ways about this when it comes to Xhosa men. Xhosa men avoid Xhosa women because they know that Tina soze siyithathe i-nonsense yabo because siyanazi bani njani. Ningamaxoki niyintondoni zonke ezazinto zi-negative. And then Xhosa men like other tribes because they are naive of not knowing that these people are liars.
Yeah, I guess we would also be naive to another tribe.
Yes,
on whatever negativity or whatever.
I've met Zulu women where I'm like, my preference is Zulu men, and they're like, yo,
yeah,
like, do you know what entails to be with a Zulu man?
Yeah.
I don't know what entails to be with a Pedi man. I don't know what entails to be with a Zulu man. I don't know what entails to be with a Limpopo man. I don't know because that is not my tribe. I don't know how people operate there. So when I get there and I receive something that lacks in my own tribe, let's say Masiti with Pedi men, they are loyal but they are broke. Masiti,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's the truth. They're loyal but they broke. I'm going to be so infatuated by the loyalty because I'm not used to it in my tribe. Where in the same way, that's why I'm saying, like, it's the like, you are dizzy. Like, it's just like, so, they are so loving, man. Like, they are really like understanding and all these things. And they're also forward thinking. They're not rigid. Xhosa men are not rigid.
True.
They always like,
remember that one why is tin kanena lando manobana lando the gay lando
Yes.
they them or something like that.
Hayi singasela nabo date them.
No way.
Date them.
For them.
Exactly.
Something like that. God, I get it.
Yes.
Okay, that I get though.
Yeah, Xhosa men are not rigid. Like the I think that's the one. Okay, Nzabatetelela because it's the only tribe I know, and you can disagree to agree. This is how I feel about them. Even when it comes to things like being gay and all those things and
Yeah.
acceptance, Xhosa men, like, the chances of discriminating against you of whatever you have or like where you come from and all these things, that shit won't happen. Like, it will
Not that it won't.
Okay, not it won't happen. Okay, it will hardly. Okay.
Okay, but zinintsi homophobes kwa
Ewe,
Xhosa.
yes,
Zinintsi,
yes.
ewe.
Okay,
Actually,
let me
Masiti-
rephrase my. It will
Masiti
hardly.
maybe, I guess because Tina, we mostly around them,
Yeah.
we can see how maybe there's a lot of like, is it progressive, like,
progressive.
you know,
They're
yeah,
a bit-
in a
okay.
way.
No, but I'm not okay.
But
I'm
also,
not
let's say,
I'm not trying to generalize.
maybe what we're trying to do here is don't congratulate a fish for swimming. In the sense of, but I guess that's what we're trying to do, I guess, as
Yes,
a society,
yeah.
but to push the conversation forward. To be
Yeah.
like, okay, at least Kenya Zama, get a lot of you guys to be
bayazama,
too progressive, but
Okay.
not
Okay,
not
fair,
There
fair.
is quite a huge chunk that
I take
isn't
that. No,
progressive,
fair.
you know.
With any,
Yeah.
I think just in societal standards.
Yeah.
Like, okay, fine.
Must
fair.
sit in societal standards,
Standards.
maybe
Yeah,
a bit more,
a
I
bit
guess.
more, a bit more progressive. But overall, what I'm trying to say is that, like, from my own personal experience, from what I've received, they do have their faults. We can sit here all day, no Khanya, and talk about their faults. But I'm saying give it a try. Like, I don't want us to fully disencourage her.
Well, yeah,
I think that's where I'm
man.
going, because I don't want this podcast to be a podcast of us like constantly disencouraging people from dating Xhosa men, because if it would become that, the podcast would become October, the podcast. I was taught, but like it would literally become
True,
that.
like,
But just try.
just try.
But mental institute.
Uyakwada kuyo. Say, like, honestly, shame. Like, I think Xhosa men, like, banazo that traits zabo, like that thing we were speaking about when we are not push back here, bana bamanti man, like bana lanto imandi, you know, and stuff. But like obviously Kenyani, they are the very toxic traits which actually do come from like them being slight like imisojon basically evela kwaXhosa and whatever.
And homes.
Yes, and whatever.
Kind of fun.
But also he even mentioned Manat's a rugby player, and obviously rugby players get as not good rep, like, you know. But mnamda say, for example, poso rugby player send by put your feet. We are here kanyani like ulibele kubamela tina. Ichomi score right. Mna
Usale flight uhambe wena.
Mamele lonto. Kuthi manje imiyeke kanjani. Efit.
Iskora.
Ndase sondeke lonto. Sizihambe zoskora. Ndase sihambe skora sakho babe.
Nakukhanya nasifike bethena ngeskora sakhe samnyisayo.
So just enjoy yourself, have fun. At the end of the day, like it doesn't matter whether they were Xhosa or whatever the case may be. At the end of the day, if you you know, anyways.
I think the general consensus is that like just
have
men
fun, bruh.
are not good people, and
You literally
from
just
not any tribe at all, like all of them, white, black, all of them.
You literally just said.
All you have to do is try and like sell antidepressants and keep it moving.
Honestly, but you live and learn also when it comes to certain
you live and
situations,
learn.
yeah.
But ke Xhosa man yabona ndinithethelele
Ubazamile, shem.
ningaphindi.
But yeah, that
that's
was
all.
the last scenario.
Last thoughts from Samkelo.
Samkelo kudala cheese.
Funeka sithethe nawe.
Samkelo, what are you gonna do? Zulu? Oh.
I'm Zulu.
Uvile nje lethi yena ubelieve kusithembu.
Samkelo
funeka sithethe nawe.
Ubuhle bona thetha ngendaba zethu apha. Zithine zakho.
Azithethi.
Nah, guys. My things are between us. They're between us. They're between us.
Yeah, they between
It's
the
a
three of
family
us.
team.
But Samkelo funeka sithethe nawe wena i-vocab yakho
I did say.
when you nut. So mama watches this podcast.
Oh, but umdala, right? So,
Okay,
come on, you're
fair,
old
fair.
enough.
But ungazimameli comments siyakufuna thina but don't worry about it. Ungamwarishi lo kudiyamile basana lwam.
I want a number ngifuna umshele.
Nimxolele nani man subscribers khani nimxolele lo Samkelo ukhona ngoku yini
Sekhona sisi
ubhuti. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below any scenarios that you would like us to dissect for you, or you can email us if you don't want everyone to see. Can you email any scenario so that we can unpack?
I enjoyed this so much. It's
this
nicer
was
when it's
fun,
them than
yes.
the ones that are from the internet.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is fun. This was very fun. This was a fun episode compared to the part one that we shot that was like very serious
Yeah,
and
it was
rigid.
quite deep.
This was very fun. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Road to 10K from me
Period.
and Khanya Mweli. Love you guys so much.
Bye.